Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and much appreciated you guys coming by the channel and checking the video out today. And man, I do appreciate it because guys, I know how busy everybody is with their day and a ton of YouTube channels you can be watching. So I really appreciate you guys tuning into my channel here. We're going to be talking about Scott Martin getting disqualified from the Lake Okeechobee Elite Series tournament that's going on right now. I think they announced that disqualification yesterday. So we're going to get into this today because we talked about Matt Herron a couple days ago, and this is sort of a similar situation. And it speaks to the bigger picture about how Bassmaster has got to make a change with these rules. It has been a freaking cluster over the past couple of years with rules and rule violations. So I'm going to give you my opinion on that and be curious to get your guys' feedback on that as well. Also, guys, quick invitation. I'd just like to invite everybody to please hit that subscribe button here to the channel. It's a good way to support the channel. We're really working hard to get 150,000 subscribers. And guys, if you're looking to buy tackle, there's not a better time to get it right now at Tackle Warehouse. They got a big sale going on, 25% off, a bunch of stuff on the site. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video. If you guys use that link, it's to order your tackle through and bookmark it. It's a good way to help the channel out. A big thank you from me and my family if you're doing that. Okay, they announced yesterday Scott Martin was disqualified, and apparently it was for inadvertently getting information past the cutoff date. And we've seen this over and over again. And first of all, before I get into this, I've known Scott forever. I remember when he very first started fishing tournaments on the FLW Tour. I think he won the very first year he fished back on the Pascagoula River. One of the first tournaments he fished, he won. And I like Scott a lot. I mean, I always like his dad, Roland, and I got nothing bad to say about Scott. I think he's a great guy. So I'm not really sure exactly how this went down, but apparently he was down working on tackle, and there was some local guy coming up, and they had a conversation that, I guess Scott did not feel comfortable with it. And the word was that he self-reported himself. I don't know if that's true or not. That's the reporting that I had seen on it. And Bassmaster said that as a result, they're going to disqualify him from the tournament and also issue a fine to him. Now, guys, this is freaking messed up. I want to tell you that right off the bat. This rule right here that Bassmaster has, they have got to change it because it is way too gray. And there are so many different variables, and there's so many different gray areas, and there's so many different decisions that they make. There's not any clear-cut delineation of what a violation is exactly and what the penalty should be assessed with it. Now, in my opinion, the rules should be in place for just completely intentionally and maliciously trying to violate a rule and break a rule knowingly. I don't think that the punishment fits the rule violation if it's an inadvertent action. I really don't, because if you disqualify somebody for an oversight or some type of a gray area, guys, that is a huge hit on any angler's career. Regardless of how innocent it may be, it still leaves a stain. It leaves a little bit of a question mark. And I don't know if Bassmaster takes that seriously enough to when they do disqualify somebody that they see the long-term ramifications that it has for that particular angler. I'm not saying that people have the right to violate rules, but what I'm saying is this whole no information rule that Bassmaster's had such a problem with over the last couple of years, it needs to be refined, and it needs to have parameters on it that are a lot cleaner or a lot clearer than what they are. Because here's the thing about it, if you're in your boat working on tackle and you're just trying to be friendly and you're trying to talk to some guy, they do it all the time at a tournament. You'll have locals come up, and some guys are talkers and some guys just love to talk and you can't get rid of them. And you try to be polite, you don't want to be rude, and in the ensuing conversation, some information may inadvertently get out that's not supposed to get out. And guys, Scott Martin getting disqualified from this tournament yesterday, and Matt Herron getting disqualified two days ago, this happens all the time and never gets caught. It happens every freaking tournament, and it has ever since I've been fishing. It's happened to me hundreds of times. It's happened to every pro that I know hundreds of times. You're at a restaurant, you're at a gas station, you're at a car wash, you're at the weigh-in, and some guy comes up to you and starts feeding you information that you, and most of the time people say you can't get it, but then there's this miscommunication or whatever, and somebody gets, accused of something, and then they wind up getting disqualified for this violation of a no info rule. This no info rule was put into place to basically stop people from soliciting, to stop pros from actively soliciting local information. Because prior to the cheater box, getting local information was a staple for decades for people. People would research the lake, they try to figure out, the best areas. A lot of times they'd have a friend or a local there and they talk to it. So this has been going on for constantly. And the same infraction that Scott Martin got disqualified from, and Matt Herron, it happens all the time, and it never gets caught. So this rule needs to go, because they have to figure out some way to make it where if you inadvertently hear some information from a bystander, that should not be grounds for disqualification. Now, if that bystander said, yeah, such and such pro angler, he come up to me and he wanted waypoints and he was probing me and he was asking me where I need to be fishing, that's a different story. But when somebody's just like having a friendly conversation and you're not trying to be rude or an a-hole to somebody, that shouldn't be disqualified. I've had conversations like this where it happens all the time. I'll be working in the hotel parking lot, I'll be working my boat, some guy will come up to me, local, and start talking, and I try to be as polite as I can, but I eventually, if they start saying too much, I have to get short with them. And I've had guys they just say, well, you don't have to be a dick about it, or you don't have to be an asshole about it. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to let them know I cannot get information. But at the same time, they've given me information. So it's in my head, even though I didn't solicit it. And this is the problem with the no information rule that Bassmaster has. Another thing with that, it's like, okay, this deal with Matt Herron and Scott, all that type of stuff, why did they have to take it to the extreme to disqualify somebody? Why couldn't they just say, okay, guys, you made an inadvertent mistake here, and the penalty is going to be you're going to have to sit at the dock for an hour after everybody takes out, and just give them an hour penalty, and don't fine them, don't disqualify them from the tournament that could possibly end somebody's career as a result of just an innocent misunderstanding. And another thing, I've got to draw this into it. It's like it's amazing to me that Bassmaster will disqualify somebody for what happened like to Scott Martin, yet it's legal to use that damn cheater box. It's like you've got this piece of technology out there that is so destructive to the sport. It's so destructive to the future sustainability of the sport and everything that the sport is about. You got no limits on it. If some dude wants to have $1 million worth of electronics in the boat, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. And that is all legal, but somebody gets disqualified. If somebody came up and said, oh, I caught a 3-pounder over there on that point, you're out of here, you're disqualified. But at the same time, some dude can roll in with $100,000 worth of cheater boxes and it's perfectly legal. So there's a tremendous amount of double standard and hypocrisy within these rules that needed to be changed. But anyway, the people that need to change it are the anglers. It's like I've told you before, guys, I got no confidence whatsoever in the Bassmaster tournament management deal. The decisions that they have made have been horrific. And the decisions on these rule violations should be made by the pros themselves. Why can't they get all the pros in the room and say, okay, guys, we are going to restructure these rules and we're going to try to do it to create a level, fair playing field that is just everybody's happy with. That is the way they need to do it, instead of trying to think that they know everything, which they don't, because these dudes making these tournament rules, they're not tournament fishermen. They don't fish tournaments. Let the tournament anglers police themselves. So anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think about it. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to y'all later.